This is Twesa Ngosi with the news on Zodiak, the headlines at this hour. Malawi Police Service and Women Lawyers Association enter into partnership to eliminate increased cases of sexual violence. MEC releases electoral calendar for the October 26 by-elections in 4 constituencies. State finishes parading its 6 witnesses in a case in which business person Zamil Karim and Ecobank head of domestic banking Victoria Chanza. And in sports, Nyasa Capital Finance Limited unveils 45 million kwacha sponsorship for regional cups in the next 3 years. Now the news in detail. The Malawi Police Service and Women Lawyers Association of Malawi have announced a partnership to eliminate increased cases of sexual violence. Speaking Friday after meeting officials from the association at the National Police Headquarters in Lilongwe, Police Inspector General Dr. George Kainja says the partnership will also assist in dealing with sexual harassment cases within the law enforcement agency. We have this report by Winston Kaimira.
There are indicators that increasing cases of sexual harassment at workplace have not spared law enforcement institutions in the country. The criminal acts have prompted the Malawi Police Service to start formulating its sexual harassment workplace policy. Police Inspector General Dr. George Kainja expects smooth implementation of the policy as the Malawi Police Service partners with Women Lawyers Association of Malawi in efforts to eliminate sexual violence. Dr. Kainja says through the partnership, police will also target districts that are recording high cases of sexual violence, such as rape, with various interventions.
We had a meeting yesterday with all officers in charge station where it has been observed that there's a lot of sexual harassment within the Malawi Police Service at the workplace as well as outside the workplace. Therefore, we have agreed to partner with the Women Lawyers Association so that our police officers are sensitized, are trained, but our spouses as well are also trained.
Women Lawyers Association of Malawi project lawyer for End Sexual Harassment in Public Institutions, Matamando Jiweza, says through the project, the association will be providing legal services to victims of sexual violence, among other interventions.
I've decided to partner with the Malawi Police Service because they have the sole mandate to enforce the laws of Malawi. So we are working towards this partnership in order to work towards addressing sexual harassment in Malawi, both in public spaces, public institutions, and definitely private spaces. So currently in Malawi, we have a lot of sexual harassment going on because sexual harassment consists of both verbal and non-verbal actions. So currently, we have a lot of sensitization that we need to do even in public spaces.
The partnership comes at a time cases of sexual violence, which include defilement, have become rampant in the country. This is Winston Kaimira reporting for Zodiac in Lilongwe.
The Malawi Electoral Commission MEC has released the electoral calendar for by-elections in 4 constituencies in the country. The polls will be held on October 26th. MEC spokesperson Sangwani Mafulira says the calendar includes registration, campaign and presenting of nomination papers and maintains that there is need to keep observing COVID-19 preventive measures. Mafulira explains.
Polling for this by-election will happen on the 26th of October. But before that, there will be registration of new voters and also verification for those that already registered ahead of the 2019 elections. So this is going to run from the 27th of September to 10th of October. The official campaign period is running from 24th September to 24 October, but presentation of nomination papers will be on the 10th of October. So which means that we are starting the official campaign period before the presentation of nomination papers. This should send some advice to those that wish to contest and start campaign now, that they should ensure that they check they are eligible to participate in these by-elections. The eligibility criteria for one to contest is clearly stated in the electoral laws. So if they know that they possess one of the deficiencies, they should not proceed to campaign. We have always put in place measures to ensure that when we are having by-elections, people are protected from contracting or spreading the COVID-19 virus. So first is to emphasize that each and every person should take individual responsibility to observe the measures. This is an issue they cannot delegate. For those that will be conducting campaign rallies, they should ensure that they have put in sanitary facilities where people can wash hands.
Natural Resources and Environment Ministry says massive investment is needed on mindset change in waste management among communities. Records show that 633 15-ton rollers of waste is being created every day, but poorly managed. Minister responsible Nancy Tembo said unfortunately people have normalized living with waste, especially in towns and cities where most of the waste is generated. She was speaking ahead of World Cleanup Day, which is commemorated every third Saturday of September each year. We have this report.
As people's economic status increase, the rate of waste generation is said to coincidentally pick up, and that is why major cities generate more waste than the rural areas. Minister of Natural Resources and Environment Nancy Tembo says, for instance, Lilongwe and Blantyre cities alone generate an estimated 63 15-ton lorries per day of waste, which end up impacting on the environment.
The more people become more prosperous, the more waste they generate. Can we reverse that? Can we, the ones that are doing better, pay more attention to issues of the waste that we're generating?
Further to the existing waste, the minister says electric and electronic waste is compounding the challenge in cities, municipalities, towns and main trading and market centers, whose management is also a big challenge. The country, she said, is facing a huge challenge in the management of the waste, right from waste separation, collection, handling, transportation, up to the waste treatment and disposal. According to the ministry, there is need for concerted efforts from both public and private sectors in ensuring better management of the waste that is being created, as it wreaks havoc not only to the environment but human health as well. President Lazarus Chakwera last November launched the National Cleanup Campaign in his push for improved waste management, but the initiative has failed to gain momentum due to COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Lilongwe City Council says it is in the process of formulating a waste management strategic plan with the target of creating 70% of the waste created by the year 2024. Mr. Musa Mwale is Director of Administration for Lilongwe City Council. Globally, the third Saturday of September is commemorated as World Cleanup Day, set aside to mobilize all sectors of the society to participate in cleanup actions and implement lasting changes to end the global waste epidemic. Priyanka Mbala, ZBS News, Lilongwe.
The state has finished parading its 6 witnesses in a case in which business person Zamir Karim and Ecobank head of domestic banking Victoria Chanza are being accused of conniving to obtain false documents. The documents aided Karim to obtain a 150 million kwacha loan at Ecobank to provide food rations to the Malawi Police Services. Public Prosecutions Dr. Stephen Kayuni says they are impressed with the witnesses paraded, but has further amended the charge sheet for Karim to include money laundering on the list of other charges that he is answering. The case is expected to be in court on 28th September. Andrew Viano has filed this report.
Business person Zamir Karim and Ecobank Malawi head of domestic banking Victoria Chanza were back in court Friday. The duo is accused of forgery and fraud over alleged use of false documents to obtain a 150 million kwacha loan at Ecobank. And on Friday, the state paraded 2 more witnesses to testify before Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chirwa, who is hearing the matter. First to take to the witness box was Justice Nhoma, a retired police officer who was heading Forensic Documents Examination Unit. Then, before George Kuza, head of credit at Ecobank, witnessed on the matter. Director of Public Prosecution Dr. Steve Kayuni says the 6 witnesses paraded this far have helped them build their case. Dr. Kayuni further says they have amended the charge sheet based on the evidence gathered so far.
Before the ruling of case to answer, the state made an application that there is need for an amendment of the charge sheet, and this is pursuant to section 151 of the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Code, and the Honorable Court allowed the amendment.
Tamando Chokoto, representing Chanza, says out of all witnesses paraded, his client has not been implicated, arguing that the banker was a victim of the purported fraud, not an accomplice.
Of all the 6 witnesses that have been called, none of them, not a single one of them, has been able to show any single piece of evidence against Mrs. Victoria Janza. We're actually wondering why she's been dragged along in this case all this time.
Particulars of the case indicate that Karim, in August 2015, using his companies Oil and Protein Company Limited and Pioneer Investments, obtained a 150 million kwacha loan from EcoBank using forged documents with a promise to pay back the loan from proceeds of the police food ration deal, but never did.
At least 4,000 small and medium enterprises are expected to access loans through a World Bank Open Basket Fund that has $85 million. Director of SMEs in the Ministry of Trade, Wiskes Nkombezi, says the banks and other financial institutions shall be focal points to enable the SMEs access the loans. Some SMEs have welcomed the opportunity as they think it will help curb barriers that small and medium business ventures face to get investment loans. From Blantyre, here's Christopher Sunday with more.
The Ministry of Trade thinks small and medium enterprises, SMEs, have a crucial role to play in the socio-economic development of the country. SMEs Director Wiskes Nkombezi is optimistic that the $85 million United States Open Basket Fund from World Bank will make the SMEs to be vibrant. He says the ministry is currently engaging banks including National Bank, Standard Bank, NBS, and other financial-related organizations like MyBanks, National Economic Empowerment Fund, and Malawi Agricultural and Industrial Investment Corporation that will be focal places where SMEs will access the finances.
We are looking at even widening the access to finance through other government initiatives. Maybe I can also just mention this, that as government we have also given resources to other institutions like Malawi Agricultural and Industrial Investment Corporation to administer a partial credit guarantee scheme. But and NIF will also have access to those resources under what we call the financial inclusion.
Public Ayuni from NIF says the process of disbursing loans to citizens is progressing well. Mlela Investment Executive Director Fiskani Piri thinks the World Bank Open Basket Fund will assist to address the barriers that SMEs have been facing in Malawi. It is estimated that the fund will benefit more than 4,000 SMEs in the country. Reporting for Zodiak from Blantyre, this is Christopher Sunday.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
Good news to those staying in Zomba. The most affordable reliable network access is now available in town. Get your access business number today and enjoy the affordable rates. For more information, call 0212 200 200.
Access your world.
Mipando ya sofa, dining set, mabedi, coffee table zisamakhale ngati zolandira kuli kufanana ayi. Ku Davina Furnitures amapanga mipando, masofa set, dining set mmene inuyo eni yake mukufunira. Podziwa kuti anthufe timakhala nkukonda kosiyanasiyana. Awuzeni a Davina Furnitures akupangireni zinthu zolongosoka, anthu ena asirire. Davina Furnitures ili pafupi ndi Gateway Mall, kungoloka msewu wochokera ku Mchinji roundabout ku Lilongwe. Ino amaloji, mahotel ndi onse okonda zinthu zabwino. Chitani telefoni ku nambala iyi: Davina Furnitures 0999 002 707.
Malawi Malawi 2063 Ufika 2063 kale wokomera aliyense achinyamata tigwira ne manja tukula Malawiyo achinyamata tikale patsogolo tukula Malawiyo Malawiye Malawiyo ni wozimira paeka Malawiyo wokomera aliyense Malawi 2063 kusinda dziko lathu mokomera aliyense.
UNICAF University, September to October 2021 intake. Special scholarships available at UNICAF University for bachelor, master's, and doctoral degree programs. UNICAF University is accredited nationally by the NCHE and internationally by the British Accreditation Council in the UK. Enroll for internationally recognized degrees at a fraction of the cost. Feel safe knowing that your online studies with UNICAF University will not be disrupted by measures for the pandemic. From enrollment to graduation, everything runs smoothly online. Don't miss this golden opportunity. This offer is valid until the end of October 2021. So apply today and get a free tablet when you register and pay the required deposit. WhatsApp 0993 907 002 or go to www.unicafuniversity.ac.mw to find out more.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we continue. Malawi Police Service and Women Lawyers Association enter into partnership to eliminate increased cases of sexual violence. MEC releases electoral calendar for the October 26 by-elections in 4 constituencies. State finishes parading its 6 witnesses in a case in which businessman Zamiu Karim and EcoBank head of domestic banking Victoria Chanza. And in sports, Nyasa Capital Finance Limited unveils 45 million kwacha sponsorship. Moving on with the news, an independent agriculture policy think tank, Mapata Institute, says there is no indication that fertilizer prices will go down anytime soon. A research fellow at the institute, Dr. Kriston Nyondo, said this Thursday evening in Lilongwe, adding that foreign factors that include fuel price surge and demand among countries are some of the contributing factors. Another research fellow at the IMFRI Malawi, Dr. Jan Yuroslav, has challenged government to come up with long-term plans that will bail out the country from fertilizer vulnerability. We have this report filed by Western Guta.
During a roundtable discussion in Lilongwe yesterday on fertilizer price surge this year, the Mwapata Institute, an agricultural policy think tank, said that there is strong indication that fertilizer prices will remain high. The Institute's research fellow, Dr. Kriston Nyondo, said that foreign factors, for example, fuel price rise and international scramble, among other countries, are some of the contributing factors. Dr. Nyondo said, among other countries, Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, and Zimbabwe are all competing for the fertilizer, even at the ports.
When you look at what happens between the world price of fertilizer and then the costs associated with the freight, the logistics, all the way to the Malawian border, it was very clear that 90% of what we see happening in terms of the retail prices for Malawi are driven by the prices at the global level. And then when we looked at what exactly is driving the fertilizer prices at the global market.
Another research fellow at the IFPRI Malawi, Dr. Jan Yuroslav, agrees with Mwapata but has challenged government to put up good policies that will bail out the country from fertilizer vulnerability.
It's a problem that is there, and we think that to a large extent there is very little that can be done in the short term. So as we outlined, there are essentially three options available to the government, either decreasing the number of beneficiaries for this year or increasing the price that each beneficiary will have to pay, or increasing the budget of the whole program. A combination of these or one of these options eventually will have to be adopted, we believe.
Mwapata's research has established that August 2021 retail prices for common types of fertilizer have increased by 60 to 75% in the country, and that 90% of price increase happens before the fertilizer crosses into Malawi. The Minister of Agriculture on Friday announced that beneficiaries of the Affordable Input Program will have to part ways with 7,500 kwacha from 4,495 kwacha. For Zodiac, I am Western Guta.
A prominent educationist has described drone technology as a revolution that is enhancing delivery of quality services to citizens by African countries. Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Malawi University of Science and Technology, Professor Jonathan Makuwila, told Zodiac on Friday that, for instance, the newly adopted drone technology is making significant impact, especially in the areas of health, engineering, and risk operations in Malawi. Currently, UNICEF says the initiative is vital in safeguarding the rights and protection of children. Christopher Sande reports.
The Malawi University of Science and Technology MUST Deputy Vice-Chancellor Professor Jonathan Makuwila says the emerging of drone technology provides an opportunity to countries to reduce challenges they are facing. He says the innovation is improving delivery of services in key sectors, including health, engineering, and disaster.
This is very important, particularly during our time when we are advancing technology across the world. And for Malawi in particular, it is critical because technology and innovation, science are key components of any development endeavor. And for Malawi in particular, as we implement Malawi 2063, we cannot overemphasize the need for skills in drone technology because it will advance some of the issues and services that are required, for example, in health and precision agriculture.
The professor has since asked the youth to embrace the technology in order to curb unemployment and achieve self-reliance. Professor Makuwila was speaking this on Friday afternoon at MUST during the graduation of 16 students in drone flight and data analysis. Currently, UNICEF says drone technology is vital in safeguarding the rights and protection of children, especially during disasters. Reporting for Zodiac from Blantyre, this is Christopher Sande.
We now turn into sports. Nyasa Capital Finance Limited has unveiled a 45 million kwacha sponsorship windfall for regional cups in the next 3 years. The sponsorship for Premier Division teams only will back the regional leagues, which is about to conclude in the 2021 season. Nyasa Capital Finance is a private-owned agribusiness, education and project finance lending institution. Sambanda has the details in this report.
Haya said the 45 million kwacha sponsorship package for the 3 regions is intended to enhance the nurturing of raw talent in rural areas where exposure is hampered by several setbacks, including lack of resources and sponsorships.
Super League, you'll find out that in Blantyre alone, maybe I've got 4 teams, but you don't have teams maybe from Balaka, maybe from Mangochi, you don't have teams maybe from Ncheu. But with these regional leagues, you'll find out teams from Nkatabe, teams from Chitipa, teams from Lumpi, all over Malawi, they are going to be participating. So this was our idea to say, as Nyasa Capital Finance, this is why we're saying this vehicle of regional cups or regional associations will be suitable for our need.
Northern Region Football Association chairperson Dr. Lamek Zetu Konje hailed Nyasa Capital Finance Limited for the sponsorship, coming a few weeks before the regional associations conclude their leagues in the current campaign.
That guarantees that our teams will be busy throughout the year. They'll have no time to actually loaf around. We are going to make sure that the areas in the north are aware of what Nyasa Finance Capital does. And therefore, we'll make sure that in every game that we're going to play under Nyasa Finance Capital, their products are marketed.
Football Association of Malawi Executive Committee member Madalitso Kuyera advised the regional affiliates to exercise prudence and professionalism in running the tournaments.
The strategic direction now is that we focus much on the rural areas. We would like to make sure that we manage the tournament, the competition in a professional manner. Whenever we are having these games, we also take their products to the rural masses so that they know what Nyasa Capital Finance is doing. Then in turn, they can be getting their products.
Each region will receive 5 million kwacha for a regional cup in the next 3 years, and the competition is expected to roll out next month.
And that's about what we have time for in this news edition. But before we go, a look at the headlines. Malawi Police Service and Women Lawyers Association enter into partnership to eliminate increased cases of sexual violence. MEC releases electoral calendar for the October 26 by-elections in 4 constituencies. State finishes parading its 6 witnesses in a case in which businessman Zamiel Karim and EcoBank head of domestic banking. And in sports, Nyasa Capital Financing Limited unveils 45 million kwacha sponsorship. Visit our website zodiacmalawi.com for more news. My name is Twesa Ngosi. From the rest of the news crew, it's thanks for watching and bye for now.